here. Welcome. I'm David Barrett. I'm the National Program Director for the Center of Excellence in Project Management at the Schulich Executive Education Center. We're going to get rocking and rolling here, and because we've got a lot to chat about, and I want to give you an opportunity to ask questions. I've got one little administrative item to take care of. It's going to take me about 10 to 12 seconds, so hold on tight, please. I had to change chairs. I was sitting in my regular chair, which is my squeaky chair, the leather chair, and it makes way too much noise. So my wife's desk is beside me. I just stole her. Don Dixon, welcome. There's a guy that needs to know all about project management, especially. Don, nice to see your name again. Welcome. Love to chat with you sometime afterwards and catch up and see what you're up to. It's always nice to find out how you and the family and everyone's doing. Don and I met, Don, you and I met a long time ago. Jennifer Bishop, welcome. Kevin Gallant, welcome. Folks, the competition is on. The question is, how many people in the end, what will be the highest number of people that registered that will come into this webinar? We are now at 70 of 200. I'll repeat, typically our number is 50%, plus or minus a bit. So type your number in the chat box. I will send the book, The Keys to Our Success, to the winner of top plus or minus, the closest to the number. In the end, not when I start, okay? And so we've got some great guesses coming along. And currently, just a heads up, we are at 70, and I'm sure people will continue to roll in. So I'm gonna close that up now, and let's get going. We got a Q&A box, we've got some people chatting in the Q&A box, great. But we've got, if you could leave that one, we're going to stick with the chat box and I can monitor that. We'll go through the chat box and look at all the guesses for the registration in a moment. So great welcome to everyone. Thank you for joining me. Really excited on behalf of the Engineer Geoscientists of New Brunswick, the association that is hosting and working and partnering with the Schulich School of Business, the Schulich Executive Education Center. Yeah, why us? Why are we doing this? I'm the National Program Director. I'm David Barrett. A little bit about me and then a little bit about why we're doing this. I'm a project management guy. I have been for 30 years. I am in the Ontario region. Don't hold that against me now. I have a son and daughter-in-law in Dartmouth and two of my favorite grandchildren in Dartmouth, Nova Scotia. My daughter went to Dalhousie. Yeah, I got lots of roots there, but I've been working with so lots of roots on the East Coast. We've been working. The Schulich Executive Education Center has been working in partnership with one of your local universities, UNB, for many, many years to deliver a product called a Master's Certificate in Project Management. Now that partnership is no longer. The UNB has decided not to pursue that line of education. And so, you know, don't want to leave it alone. We've done very well with that program once a year. You know, it's done extremely well. So we're still there. We're still in New Brunswick. And thank goodness, sometimes, hey, thank goodness for COVID. We proved that we can run this remotely. But here's my promise. We will be back in person. I promise you, we are going to be running that product through all your 3 major cities. I'm seeing one cohort with a couple of modules in each city, kind of idea within the next year or so, but we are running this fall virtually for you. And I'm going to talk a little bit about that, but that's kind of why we're doing this. We want to help you, educate you, and get you thinking about the project management business and the engineering environment and the geoscientist environment. And then leave you with some not just, hey, this was cool, there's a product that they're selling. Yeah, there's a little bit about that, but yeah, I learned something. I want you to learn something here, so stay tuned. 1 hour max with Q&A. Agenda, who am I? Why are we here? I think we've done that. Who are you? Why should you care about project management? What is project? Why is it different? Is it really different than all other project management? Little bit of help, please. For some of you, what's the PMI? What's the PMP? And I know some of you are PMI members. Some of you I know, at least one of you has been on the board of the PMI. So you'll know that stuff pretty easily. But that's kind of where I'm headed. I'm hoping that this is what you're looking for. We are at 83 is the participant number at the moment. We are looking at least 100 is my guess, 100 on the nose. That's the 50%. Got 4 to 16 to go. I'm going to win this book. But my guess is 100. But please type in your guess in the chat box. How many people do you think at its highest number will participate in this webinar? 200. I think Charlene will confirm that it was 197 or so that registered for the event. Sponsored by the Master Certificate in Project Management, brought to you by the Schulich Executive Education Center. I've always wanted to do that. York University, remotely. We are starting in the fall, and I will give you dates, a link to dig into this product. It's an 18-day product that teaches you how to be a great project manager. It's awesome for engineers, geoscientists. It is, and we've put a lot of people through that from your space. And as well for many, it does absolutely prepare you for the PMI exam, and I'll explain how that works in a moment. So we'll do a little bit of detail on that closer to the end, but I really want to get to the reason why you were here. And actually, let's go right to who the heck are you? So we can open up the first poll. Here's the question. Go and vote, please. What is your profession? Are you an engineer in aerospace, chemical, civil, electrical, mechanical? Are you a geoscientist or other? Okay, that'll be fun. Civil engineering is winning. The horse race is on. We got civil engineering with 26 of you. We got second place, 17 mechanical engineers. Third place, chemical engineers at 11, and 11 electrical. And we are geoscientists. There's none of you. Oh my goodness. And a few others, and no one in the aerospace aeronautical engineering. Awesome. And the polling, and of course, I'm sure that's still sitting, and I'm sitting here going over here, the results. You can't see them. Little quirky thing on Zoom polls. I can see it building, but you hadn't seen it. So that's the who you are. Okay. I got another question for you. Let's go to, I got 3 questions for you. This is a really important one. Okay. I really want you to think hard about this one because it's critical to our collection of data. Launch the poll, David. It is critical. Oh my goodness. Look at you guys and gals go, holy rip. Okay. Yeah, they got a chance. That was a weak start. We'll see about tonight. Here's the end of that. Here's what you thought. Yeah, they got a chance. I agree. They've got a chance. I'm going to stop sharing the results, and I'm going to give you the last poll. Who do you work for? I know a lot of you work for Irving, so hey, I work for one of the Irving companies. A lot of government. D&D is a separate line I put there. Okay. Other than those 3, I work for an organization over 500, not Irving. 100 to 500, 25 to 100. Under 25, you're a sole proprietor, or I think I got that last one in. I am not currently employed. My apologies. There was one last line that I didn't type out there. You are not currently employed. So I do apologize. And definitely there may be a few of you that are not currently employed. Okay. So I thought the Irving companies were a little bit better represented than this. Another organization over 500. Wow, there's 22 of you. Cool. 100. So well done. Good to know what we're kind of dealing with. Oh, darn it. I never shared the results again. Honestly, I find that really quirky. I can see it. I keep thinking you see it, but no, you don't see it. Oh, there it is. I am currently, there it is. I found it. I'm not employed at this time. Good. 3 of you. Well done. Hopefully maybe we can connect you with others. And that's who you are working with today. Great to have all of you here, and thank you for your time. The contest is still going, and the number is, drumroll, 91 at the moment. 91. You know, here's the admission. Listen, I've been a project management guy for many, many, many years. I started selling software with Timeline, Symantec. I got into running conferences. Project World was mine. We actually ran in Halifax once. We ran in Moncton a couple of times. I started that in my basement, sold the business, stuck around for a few extra years. I've been a professional speaker for a number of years, stopped after COVID or during COVID or at the beginning of COVID. And I've spoken to a number of times at your local chapters in New Brunswick. I've written 8 books on project management. One we're going to give away to the winner of this contest. So this is me, and you will have noticed that I didn't say once, not once did I say engineering background. So I did some research. I found this I don't know, a liquid planner. It sounds like it's a software product, but what was interesting is they wrote some interesting perspectives about engineering and project management. So I basically stole some of the wording, some of what I saw, and thought, I can share this. I give them credit, liquidplanner.com. Listen to this. Successful engineering projects rely more on non-technical skills than technical skills. It's not that the technical skills aren't important, they are. One can't design a building without knowledgeable, skilled structural MEP fire engineers. An airplane isn't safe unless there's a skilled aeronautical engineer involved. Duh. You can't rely on the quality of electricity unless there are smart electrical engineers involved. We get that. But a skilled engineer might be working on a project that a skilled engineer might be working on, however, won't be successful unless there's an equally skilled project manager involved leading and managing the engineering project. So what is this guy saying? This person is saying? This person is saying, listen, you all took Engineering 101. In Engineering 101, you took your course. You took the project management course. You may have taken a few courses. I don't think you specialized in project management. Now, I'm talking about a general population here. I know some of you are professional project managers, and you're just curious to what this old guy David's going to say. But I think the most of us are kind of the level that we're engineers. We're not project managers, and we're here because we're kind of going, so what? What about this project management thing? Here's the point that this fellow and this lady is making, is that we get you're very good. You and your peers, your industry are good at building buildings and towers and bridges, and you get that, and it's going to work. It's terrible to say that the disaster in Florida, putting that one aside, but generally speaking, and God help the families and the people that are involved, and our best thoughts and prayers go out to all of them. So yeah, it's not always perfect, but you do get it. You understand how to build things, but it's a real technical thing. You're great planners. You're great at quality management and possibly risk management. Contracting, procurement, man, that's in your blood. But there's a lot more to project management than that. And it's kind of like that all comes with every project that you've been working on. You see, they go on to say, well, there are smart, talented engineers involved in an engineering project that goes sideways. Why do these projects still fail? Because engineering projects aren't just about the technical issues and rational factors. They're often more heavily influenced by non-technical and emotional factors. Okay, I'm going to stop here. Contest is off. Number's 92, by the way. What does he mean, or what do we mean by non-technical and emotional factors? If you agree that, hey, engineering projects, we know project management. I get it. I will, yeah, project management, or it was ingrained from the beginning. But this person is suggesting that there's a lot more to project management than just what you do so well: planning, contracting, procurement, risk, quality, the technical piece. What's the non-technical piece that they're referring to? I'm going to go to the chat box. I'm going to ask you to type in what you think this author is saying are non-technical or emotional factors that are important to projects in the engineering environment. Anyone? So I'm going to start whistling. Martin's first up at communicating. Absolutely. Ego, Carolyn, thank you very much. Stakeholder management. Impacts on society. People management. Thanks, Matt. Thank you, Chris. Building relationships, team cohesion, team communication, customer satisfaction. None of this is in that technical side. Budgeting is, a little bit more on the technical side. You're good budgeters. You've got, you got the system. You're not going to, and that's not that you're going to go over budget, but you do control your numbers very well. Politics, absolutely. So someone might look at this and go, whoa, they're all emotional intelligence. They're all client involvement. they're all soft skills. And I could say, yeah, they're all soft skills. There are people definitely that hate the term soft skills. But here's the problem. Here's what I've heard from engineers in this environment, that when it gets to the project management piece, they just go to the technical because that's what they know so well. And in fact, they've got people that look after the technical piece so well. But it's this emotional stuff. It's the non-technical stuff that gets them. This is the most difficult part. And this is what our author is suggesting is not just the most difficult part, but the most critical part. It is the people side. It's stakeholder management. It's communicating well throughout the life cycle of a project. It's customer satisfaction. It's building relationships. It's team cohesion. It's people management. It's the impact on society. These are the issues that the PMI has done some studies out there that have suggested that this list, this is the cause of 90% of project failure worldwide. It's the communications, it's the soft skill, it's poor communications, it's poor stakeholder engagement, it's poor relationship management, and the list goes on. So when we, and here's my point, that there is a huge opportunity for engineers to become great project managers beyond the great project management that you do already. We are going to, your organizations are going to wake up and realize very quickly, or they already do, that managing people is just as important as managing quality when you're building the bridge. That managing customer relationships, stakeholders, the communications methodology you're using is all just as important as managing the quality or the risk management piece or the schedule or the budget. And that's probably the biggest point today. And the reason I'm saying it is kind of like, okay, David, I get project management, I'm an engineer, cool, but where are my opportunities here? Why should I get juiced about this? And where I'm saying is, here's the gap, folks. This is the gap in the engineering business, in project management. If you were to engage in a project management course, and I'll pitch you shortly, you're going to give me that 1 minute, hopefully. Because if you don't, I'm not going to tell you who won the event. You got to be here to get the prize. We're sitting closer to my number. I'm probably winning now with my 100, well, actually my 50%. I'm going to have to ask Charlene, what is the actual number up to this morning that were registered for this event? And I'll hear that number shortly, or I'll get it on the Q&A box. But my guess is 50% of that number. And right now we're at 92. I'm not saying it's 100. It might be a little less than that. So there may be a little math involved. So what do project managers bring to the table? Where's the gap, David? What can I bring to the table that will could actually make me different? Could actually take my career to the next level? And that's the topic today. It's project management, engineering, and geoscience environment, but the tag is taking our careers to the next level. And so where are the opportunities? And you've just nailed them. I listed just a few. So just to recap, the ones that I saw as important: skilled leadership. You want to set yourself up or set yourself out in front of everyone. Leadership is critical. What I'm going to do is I'm going to show you the titles, and then we're going to go through each one of these in a little bit more detail, okay? Better communications. Great project managers provide a better communications engine. They think about this, or there's the opportunity. Strategic guidance and emotional intelligence. So I think if we went back to your list on the chat box and I read them out again, you probably hit on those 4, maybe a couple of extras. But when I think of project management in your sector, I think of where there's a gap. These are the 4 areas. And to me, that means that if you want to stand out in the crowd, get this, grab this, engage in the Master Certificate of Project Management in 18 days. And because each one of these are certainly covered in our program. So let's have a look at those 4 areas. And I mean, why to me this is so important to or such an opportunity to the engineering environment. So those of you that walk away today and say, you know what, instead of just being an engineer, I'm going to be either a project manager or a really great engineer with leadership skills. Here are some points, some critical points that I want you to think about as you go through the journey. Here are your stepping stones. Here's some thoughts before you start. I mean, how do I do it, David? Well, we got to take some courses. You got to take some training. I'm not here to push leadership courses on you, but you got to start listening to great leaders out there, maybe great leaders in the engineering geoscience environment. You've got to start reading books or listening to blog or podcasts or watching some watching some videos. Now, I'm going to also tell you that one of my latest projects, and I don't have a slide on this, and maybe that was a mistake, is called actually Project Bites. And I've created a portal of project management videos, 20 minutes long. And I'm going to set you folks up with a discount code. I'll email this to you afterwards. To get in there, it's a $95 subscription per year. If you remember the PMI of New Brunswick, right now they're negotiating a site license for us, but there's no guarantee. But I am also going to give you a code that will give you the access to the product for 20 bucks. Now, I'll check in with our friends at the chapter first to find out if they're going to bite or not on a chapter license, where they will pay a separate fee that covers all of you. But it's called Project Bites, BITES.com, and it is full of videos from project management delivered by 60, 70, almost 70 different project managers at the time. And you will find a lot on leadership. That's why I mention it. Keys on leadership. So if you want to become a leader, first of all, you set a good first impression. I'm going to give you some tips and tricks here. Those of you that know leadership, that have leaders in the business and that work for great leaders, it is the truth, isn't it? When you hear that she has been transferred and she's coming into the division, and you look and you say, you know what, right from the go-get, I knew her leadership style, type of leader she's going to be, and what this is going to be like. Oh, it's going to be a big change. It's going to be awesome, or it's going to be disastrous. Setting a first impression, hopefully a good first impression, is key to all leaders. I put that up front in my mind because I don't care how educated you are. So I write every week, I blog, and I'll show you how to follow me later if you want. I said to somebody recently, actually the executive director at Schulich, I got to write my blog this week. What's leadership? I said to Alan Middleton at the time. And he said, leadership is easy, David. He said, leadership is when you look behind you and you have followers. Full stop. I don't care about the title. I don't care about the education. I don't care about the sign on the door. If you look back and people are truly following you, you are a leader. Great leaders set a good first impression. We know that we're going to enjoy, or we know that we're going to be, it's going to be a good ride. Great leaders establish their authority right at the front. For good and bad, strict or light, loose, they're actually playing their cards on their leadership style. It's a big topic. Leadership style, it's a big topic. But building trust is critical. Being a great coach and mentor. I put that one huge, that coach and mentoring. And building trust, of course. If you don't trust your new leader or your current leader, I say leaders are on stage 24/7. You go, come on, really? I got a life. I know, but that's what you buy into. And it doesn't mean that your phone is on 24/7, but it means you are on stage 24/7. And if you want to whip down to Florida and grab your second dose of Moderna or your first, which would be maybe at the time against the policy of your province or your organization, and you're caught, forget you're caught. You just want to do that. You know what? Trust down. Whether you're caught or not. I mean, if that's the kind of person you are, you're not going to be a great leader. No one's going to trust you. Being a good coach and a mentor. Great leaders build great leaders. I've written about that a number of times. Leadership is so critical in any environment. Listening well to your people, listening from the top to the bottom, finding your people. I always say, I've said many times, listen, great project management, building a project management culture, it takes a village. And that village isn't just you and your direct reports. It isn't just you and your boss and the CEO of your organization, the director of. It's you and the CEO of your organization, the director of, and Sally and Bob and Tom and Abdul and all the others. Regardless of where they sit in the organization, it's not all of them, it's your people. listening well to your people it's so critical for a great leader, because they're now in touch with what's going on. And being a great decision maker, I put that in front at the top of my list of great leadership skills, attributes, knowledge, because we want our decisions made well. It is a science. It's not from the gut. I'm not looking for the gambler. I want my division at the department, in my organization, in the small, medium, large organization at Irving, in the government. I want them to make decisions well, based on information they gather and the data and the research they do. So this is leadership. And I'm highlighting this as well as the other three in a moment, because I want you to think, well, this is project management. And project management, maybe this is the surprise to you of the presentation today. It isn't the technical, it's the non-technical. And here's the opportunity, because regardless of the area you are in Brunswick, in Sioux River, in Sioux Falls, forgot where I was, or we've got the Perth, Australia represented today, and Ottawa, regardless of where you are, your project management environment, you get it done on time, on budget, on scope, okay, but we're also looking for great leaders. I'm not interested in great project management when I still have people that are dying on the sidelines just because that's your style. It's not going to work for us. This organization is going to be around a lot longer than you, I say to you as the new leader. Don't mess us up. You're here for 3 to 5 years, and then we've got another 3, 5, 10, 15, 20, and 30 years to go. Don't be that blemish. You mentioned great communication, and absolutely it's critical to project management today, in an engineering environment, in any environment. Good communicating this is probably a key element. If you've never been into the project management business, communicating is a science. Yes, it's an art, but it's a science. The art comes at the bottom there. Being a great presenter, a writer, meeting lead, this is all great communicating skills. To me, that's the art. Now you could apply science to some of that. The art of getting your message, scaling it up and down, get to those two in a moment. But the truth is that the science is really critical. And in project management business, if you've never been, we actually, some of us, not all of us, unfortunately, we actually work with one of the early documents is what we call the project charter, but it's also now we've got something new that I love to talk about, and no one uses it, of course. It's the team charter. And that team charter is a document that has nothing to do with budget, risks, key stakeholder, budget, risk, and scope definition and timing and all that. It's got everything to do with the people side. The team charter is all about who are we, the team of people that are going to help deliver this project. And it's got everything to do with how are we going to communicate, and who's who in the zoo, and how important or not important they are, and how much they think they are important and not important, and how we're going to communicate, I think I've said already, and what our meeting's going to look like, and how we're going to deal with each other when there's conflict, and all that people side. Truthfully, we don't do that enough. But a professional project manager will build a communications plan before every project. And if they don't, you should be surprised. A good communications plan. Who gets what, where, why, when, and how throughout the whole life cycle of a project. Thinking out how the data is going to flow out of your project engine. And you, Don Dixon, and all the others, you know that there's so much information that's flowing out of your project. And that's probably one of our problems is we don't know how to scale that data up and down, number 2. And we should. And good project managers should know how to scale the data up and down. Scale it down for the executives and up for the folks in the troops, or the troops in the trench. Because they need the full scope and the blueprints in the book this big, and they just want a 15-minute project recap from you. It's the same data, scaled up, scaled down. A good communications plan, who gets what, where, why, when, how, plus a full stakeholder analysis. Who are the key stakeholders and everything we want to know about them. Communicating is so critical in any environment. To the engineers, this is the soft skill. This is the key element. One of those 4 that I want to stress today, where you've got an opportunity to do something new with your lives. If you want to become a project manager, here it is. So it's not, do you want to become a project manager and just be a regular project manager in your civil engineering world? Because that we got lots of, I suggest. What we don't have are project managers that understand this piece of the puzzle. Current number is 94 93, I just lost somebody. So we might have to figure out what the real number was, guys. I know it was 94. Did I ever get to 96? Someone in the chat box can just help me later on. Watch those numbers. I'm not sure if you guys can see the numbers. So scaling up and down and becoming a good presenter, writer, or meeting lead. I love that meeting lead. Hey, great project managers know how to run a good meeting. You know what? You've even heard of Agile these days, that sprinting. You wouldn't see Agile as much in your environment as you might see in maybe a more technical environment. But Agile is out there. Hey, we sprint for 5 days, for 10 days, for 15 days, and we stop. And we re-meet, we rethink it out, and then we replan, and we go ahead. Meeting leads, we call them Scrum Masters. But in a traditional environment, most of you would be or are involved in, being a great meeting chair is gold. It sets a groundwork. It sends a message. You start on time, you end on time, you stick to the agenda. You're really good at that, not allowing people to go off. You got parking lots. You do it all very, very well. It's gold. Learn how to do it well, even if you never become a project manager. Being a great writer. Listen, setting a good example. First impression or just a great example as any project management or anybody in any environment. When you send emails riddled with spelling mistakes, the message is loud and clear, and I don't have to tell you what the message is. With grammar, with commas misplaced, you're just not taking the time to understand how to construct a sentence. It's all right, it's just an email. Bull. An email is just as important as a letter, as a document, as a memo. And so is a text message. And we get blown away by this. Communication skills 101, learn how to do it. Strategic guidance. I love talking about that strategic thinking. One of my books is on that execution of strategy, the 7 elements of strategy execution I wrote with a friend, Mona Mitchell. And I did it because executing on strategy is important to the project management environment. Executing to strategy is critical to engineers at all levels. Why? Because it connects the work we are doing to the why around the bridge, around the building, around the trench, around the pipe. When we understand the business benefits that work is doing, we're more engaged, we're more connected. More engaged, more connected, happier employees, happy team, longevity, better experience. We're growing our leaders from within. All this helps us, and this strategic connection is important because it's that link to the work we do to the why. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the new piece to project management. And I talk about this a lot because it's a new day. It's no longer, our job is to build it on time, on scope, on budget. If it doesn't sell, it's not our job. If no one uses it, it's not our job. It's not our problem. It doesn't cut it anymore, folks. It doesn't cut it anymore. So, learning how to think strategically, understanding how to build a strategic plan, whether it be within your organization or outside, realizing that the execution of the plan is just as important as the plan itself. Forbes.com, technical projects, mind you, suggest that 65 to 70% of projects fail in one way or shape or another, of strategic plans, strategies fail. And the book is written because we want to know why, because people don't understand it. Okay, I'm going to just go to the chat box. Authorities have jurisdiction, building inspectors, plumbing inspectors, absolutely. It always bothers me, said one of you, when I hear a great project manager gets a project in on time and on budget. To me, the quality element is missing. The project manager only emphasizes schedule and budget. That's what people will pay attention to. Project managers should emphasize quality, schedule, budget. I agree. The qualities, I threw it into the foundation, to the foundation piece. But I think it's much more than that. Maybe that's what you're hearing now. To me, there's a lot more to just the quality, schedule, and budget. It's this piece. It's these pieces. Absolutely. And finally, the emotional intelligence. It's a rough and tumble environment we work in. We just do our work. It's all technical. It's all about quality, schedule, and budget. Again, bull. Hey, You got people, and people need to be happy. People need to work well. People need to come into work pleased with where we are. Project managers have a lot of people reporting to them. Engineers have a lot of people reporting to them. And the key to success today is to keep those people. You keep those people by paying attention to those people, by getting to know a little bit about them, by taking an interest in their home lives, their private lives to an extent that you're allowed, by showing compassion, by showing empathy, by understanding when people are sick and you don't just say, that's just part of the game, or injuries. I know that doesn't sound normal, but it happens. There are a lot of leaders out there that just don't care. Maybe it's not that they don't care, but they just don't know how to care. Conflict management, huge issue at all of your sites, at all of your work. And great project management people, great professionals in the engineering environment should understand. And if you don't understand it, if you don't understand how to deal with conflict, there are some great courses out there. All local, UNB, I'm sure, on conflict management. Collaboration, getting people together. How many times an hour are we working with different organizations all of a sudden? New people, people that we've never worked with before. We have to collaborate and learn. So I'm going to actually back my slides up just slightly and say, listen, so what I've done is I've said to you, what do project managers bring to the table? Beyond, and to Tony's point, beyond quality, schedule, budget. And Tony's even arguing here that quality isn't given enough time in the work you do. But what I'm saying is, more than that, they should be bringing in great leadership. They should be bringing in a better communications engine and a better communication platform. They should be bringing to the table strategic guidance to connect the what we do to the why we do it. And they should be bringing in a sense of emotional intelligence or of care and compassion. Folks, you know what? Project management, I've blogged on this a number of times. We build a culture around our projects. You are now an engineer, maybe a lead engineer, possibly in your future a project manager in an engineering environment. You've got a large project you're working on. How long is it going to take? 3 years, 5 years. Do you think that the word culture matters in that environment? Absolutely. Do you think people understand culture? No. To me, it's a huge opportunity to improve the workplace. It's a huge opportunity to grow happier and healthier employees and people. And that culture isn't just your organization. I'm not talking about the organizational culture. I'm not talking about head office down in Moncton or wherever in Ottawa. I'm talking about the culture around the projects. And project managers can help build a culture if they pay attention to these 4 pieces and make sure that they've dealt with the baseline stuff properly. So we talked about leadership, we talked about communications, strategic guidance, and emotional intelligence. What I want to do right now is, I wish I had another poll, but you can't put your hand up. I don't care about that. What I'd like to do is just very briefly mention the PMI to you, because some of you might say, okay, well, this is kind of cool. Is there a career for me as a project manager? Absolutely. And maybe that's kind of one of the little suggestions here, that we are looking for great project managers. And when I run the master certificate, it's an 18-day program that builds great project managers and helps you prepare for this PMI thing, this PMP thing. And when we open in Fredericton, all these many years, I think we have 200 or 300 graduates from the Fredericton or from the New Brunswick area on this product. When we open, we say, so why are you here? 80% of the class will say, because I'm winging it. I do what I do, but I don't know if I do it properly. I'm not so sure that this is what we should be doing. And so what the PMI will do for you is help you, and our program will do, is help you understand that there is a foundation of knowledge that project managers should know. It's not a methodology. I'm not going to hand you the how-to and the 5 gates or the 15 gates or the 50 gates to your projects, but it is a community of professional project managers worldwide. As you can see the numbers. The big one, of course, third from the bottom, number of PMPs at the moment. And by the way, that date, I don't know, menu's hiding it. January 31st, 2021. So 1.1 million PMPs in the world in good standing. They say there are 2 million people in the world that have ever had their PMP and either still holding it in good standing or have let it slide. Okay, the next biggest from the PMP, the next biggest designation is called the Certified Associate, second from the top, CAPM, Certified Associate Project Manager. And so you don't need all the experience, the 3 or 5 years of experience to write the exam, to get permission to write the exam for the CAPM as you do for the PMP. Now, I'm not going to go through all the what it's all like and how you got to do it, but suffice to say, if you're interested in a professional designation as a PMP, you put that beside your PNs, you put that beside your designation that you have already in the engineering environment, and you've got a future. I promise you. I'm not going to go into the income, to the how much do people make, but I've seen the stats that say a professional project manager in the engineering environment does make more in the average, on average. It was a US number beyond just a professional engineer. I'm not going to get into it. It's an arguable number. A whole bunch of, it depends, but you can look that up. If all of this interests you, please go to pmi.org, have a look. You have a very strong and healthy project management chapter that runs out of all 3 cities, and get in touch with them. They're PMI, New Brunswick, you can find them. Okay, they hold monthly meetings, they do a whole bunch of cool stuff, and everyone's coming back to life after COVID. And here's the other little big league thing. I actually do a one-day workshop, or I used to before COVID, from a good project manager to a great leader. So this isn't just engineering projects that we need project managers. This is actually beyond. And here's my other message of the day. Project managers make great leaders. If you have a desire to take your career to a different level, you got your engineering work you're doing now, but if you have a desire to become a leader in the organization you work in or another organization, if you have a desire to run your own business, lead. If you have a desire to move out of engineering or project management and beyond, project management is an awesome foundation for great leaders. Why? Because you've been taught and you will have practiced leading people, managing conflict, understanding time commitments, understanding stakeholder engagement, understanding great requirements, specs, and reporting and confirmation. You've got so much of what great leaders need, decision-making on the site, and the list goes on. And if you look at these softer skills we talked about, from emotional intelligence to leadership that you've chipped away at and others, project managers make great leaders. When my organization is starting to look for the future leaders because they've got to fill all those baby boomers that are retiring still, where am I going to look? Well, honestly, the smart people are going to look at project management community and say, well, what about you? Now, it's difficult to say, what about you? What about you saying to them, saying to HR, saying to your organization, when you're doing your annual review? And they say, so what's with you in the future? And they say, well, I love what I'm doing and I'm here. I said, love it, great. Next, no, wait. But I also want to tell you that I'm out of here in 3 years, 5 years, 8 years. What do you mean you're out of here? Well, I'm moving from this position. I want to progress on a regular basis to a more senior level in this environment as a project manager, as a senior engineer. And then I'm going to move into leadership space in this organization. Really? And how are you going to do that? Well, I can tell you about my plan later, but I've got a plan. I actually can talk. I have talked to people about their professional strategic plan around their professional career. That's what coaches do. That's what mentors do. Coaches, especially professional coaches. Who are you now? What are you now? Where do you want to be? And how are you going to get there? And the poor people that say to you, gee, you're not a leadership. You don't have what it takes to be a leader. You're right. I don't. That's why it's a 5-year journey, man. And I'm on it. And I'm going to do everything I can to become a leader in this organization. I want to be a senior director of, or a vice president of, or I'm going to leave and run my own business or take over a new company because I've got this foundation. One of the great things about project managers is that we do make great leaders. It's a great foundation to work from. Another article about, actually back to Liquid Planner, 5 benefits that engineers, their firms, and clients can realize from the development of project management skills. Improved efficiency, absolutely. It's documented. It helps us understand how to do things better. Enhanced effectiveness, helping to replicate success. Project managers are taught and learn, and then it doesn't always stick, that you want to create repeatable processes. Of course, and you guys would know that, and you ladies would know that as well, but repeatable processes, and that's something that does come with project management. We start to develop a methodology that is ours, that is built our way, that we can use to replicate success. It helps us all learn leadership and communication skills and creates a common operating language and picture. Yeah, there's a whole ton of benefits, not just for you as a progression to your career, but for your organizations and for your clients as well. Folks, it is now 12, 13 minutes before the hour. I just want to take 1 minute and say to you, this is brought to you by My Baby. Started in 1997 in Toronto. We immediately expanded to St. Mary's University, University of Winnipeg, University of Victoria, University of New Brunswick, Memorial University. However, unfortunately in New Brunswick, we are no longer, UNB is no longer offering this program, but we still are. Just under 300 graduates. You maybe are one of them, or maybe you know them. Talk to them about this program. It is an awesome experience. It's being run completely virtually over the next term, and we will go back in class by next winter. We are running it virtually, not at virtual just for NB, UNB, or just for New Brunswick, but we are going to be running it in an Eastern Standard Time, so 1 hour difference for you, but it's absolutely open to you, and we'd love to have you if you want to consider taking your careers to the next level on the project management side. It's actually, 10 modules, maybe 9 modules. We run it typically over Fridays and Saturdays, so it's not going to kill the time you have to spend at work. These are the modules, but they say the 10th. We've now identified, yeah, there is a 10th, and it's it's 25 hours of online PMP prep. So if you are interested, not everyone is. This is why we've actually taken all the PMP versions of everything we're doing out of the in-class work and put it online. So it's all available. These are the modules. It's a great program. I promise you, we've now graduated just over 1,000 people. And so what, David? Well, we've got a lot of experience. I'm the guy that runs it. I manage all the instructors. Next date starts September 16th. We graduate January 29th. We run away from the holidays, typically every second week on a Friday. Saturday is kind of how it works. 8:30 to 5 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, which means that it's going to be a 9:30 start for all of you folks, okay? Have a look, seek.online/MCPM will get you there, okay? Wow, that was fun. I'm David Barrett. That's my email address. That's my website. That's my LinkedIn. That's not my LinkedIn, but you type in David Barrett Project Management, you will find me. All these books are available on Amazon, but we are going to have a winner of The Keys to Our Success, 25 chapters by 25 project managers, when we ask them, what is the key that you take into every project that makes you successful? Oh, I've got a testimonial from Alex Mulan, who says, I've taken the MCPM course with David. It's awesome. Highly recommend it. Well, Alex, thank you. Okay, folks, we are looking for, Charlene, are you there? Do you know the highest number we got on this? Because I think I saw 96. Did anyone see a number higher than 96? And you got to be honest with me, because otherwise I'm going to go with 96. We're at 91 now. Always got to lose a couple. Okay. So 96 is the number. I see 101, 101, 125, 95 from Justin McDonald. Hold that name here. And 95, 96. I see a 94. I see a 97. Kevin Gallant, 97. So we got 95 and 97. I'm looking for 96. I'm looking for 96. I'm looking for 97 is Jeff. So we got 3 of you in the running. It means that if I can't find a 96, I got to send 3 books up. Please give me a 96. 96 is 99, 98, 85, 66, 123, 81, 84, 60. I'm not seeing a 96. Folks, the answer is 96. And the winners are, if you guys could email me each with a mailing address, please. I think you know who you were, but it was a 95 at Justin McDonald. It was, oh my goodness, that was way too high. And then there was 2 97s. Carolyn Walker, congratulations. and Jeff Russell. Congratulations winning the book. I'll send them out to you as well, folks. I will be in touch with a link to with a discount to projectbytes.com, my new portal for project managers with 20-minute videos and from speakers from all around the world. And we're growing. If you are a speaker, if you are passionate about this business of project management already, and you would like to contribute, we pay our speakers, by the way, so it's kind of cool. I thank you so much. I'm now going to the chat box to see if there are any questions, any comments about anything that we have taken. Thank you all very much for being here. Anyone? I'm going to stay with the chat box here. With the team charter stakeholder map. I'm not sure what that, Dominic, I'm not sure what that question is, but if you're still there, you can, Jesse, you're very welcome. Thanks for joining us. Anybody have any questions? Thank you per presentation. Great. Oh, thank you very much. Appreciate it. I have it. Jesse, thank you. Thank you. Any questions? You've been too nice. Give me, what did you think? Do you agree? Inspiring, Colette, wonderful, great. If you have any interest in the Master's Certificate in Project Management, let us know. We'd love to chat with you. Cool. Great. Shankar, great. Thank you. And no questions. Everyone's just saying great presentation. Well, I appreciate that. Can you give us some guidance about strategic guidance? Wonderful presentation. Thanks. So strategic guidance, I mean, the foundation to that is just you as a leader in your environment understanding the importance of connecting the what to the why. The what are we doing to the why? So often in a project management environment, Aline, I think is what we're saying, we just work. People say that it's not your job and it's not your worry about the why. It's just do it. That's all just keep pounding the drywall up. Just be soldering the steel. Listen to me. I don't know what I'm talking about. Just keep coding. This is you're thinking way too much about this. Well, I can say bull 3 times. I don't usually. It's not true. That's old school. Today, the more you engage your people, the more you get your team together and say, hey, this is what we've been told to build. But let me tell you where it fits into the bigger project, to the bigger program. Let me show you the bigger picture, this community, and what it's going to look like. So what we're going to do is we're going to build the trenches that supply the water to this community. And that's cool. You want to see the community? Let's go for a road trip. Let's go look at the site. Oh, well, that's where we are. Okay, well, let's go online and look at the design. Let's talk about what this stuff's going to sell for and why this is going to serve kids and adults and allow families to grow. The reason why we're building this is because we are doing something that we need housing. And so, the strategic thing is just sharing the news about why and getting people connected to it. Getting people waking up every day saying, I like what we're doing. This is going to be cool. This service we're providing, this building, this road, this access, it makes that connection. Good question, thanks. Anybody else? Any other questions? How do you establish authority and not be rude as a leader? Wow, that's a really good question. The problem with project managers, by the way, is we never have the authority. And the great workshops, influence without authority. So you're never given the title, but you're supposed to go around telling people what to do, making sure they deliver the parts of the puzzle that you have to put together in order to deliver your project on time, on budget, on schedule. And so it is a very difficult piece. I think respect is a huge piece. Setting a good first impression is huge, but eventually you are going to have to be a good decision maker. All pieces that I've outlined a bit earlier, and making the decision and taking the hit, standing up and say, well, that was wrong, and I'm going to take the fall for that but being able to say, listen, I made the decision with all the data that you had, with all the information, with a full analysis, with advisory board consultation, with client consultation and consultation with all the major stakeholders. And you, as well as me, we would have come to the same conclusion. It was door A. Now, it turns out it wasn't door A, it was door B, but who knew? And none of us could have known. So I'll take the hit. because I'm not a, I can't look into the future. So I did it right. I made the decision right. So great leader establishes their authority because they stand up and they're counted for, they take account for what they do. They've set a good first impression. They're not rude, they're respectful. They've taken an interest in people. And that's not authority, but it becomes authority. And people then see them. They see them talk strategy, they strategic thinking. Listen to this. A really quick story, the amalgamation of Canada Trust and TD, and I've got a great friend that was on the board of the TD Bank when they did it. And when they produced the new bank 2 years later, Ed Clark was the new CEO, but he came from the Canada Trust side. And it was a really interesting project and huge merger. It took 2 to 3 years to merge these two banks together. And there's a lot of cultural issues. My friend followed Ed Clark around for the first year, and they were buds. And Ed Clark he said the first time he gave the speech, it was a really good speech to the crowd. And the second time he gave it to the same crowd 3 months later, we were kind of on the same circuit, and he gave the same speech with a couple of changes. And I said, Ed, my friend said, Ed, you gave the same speech 3 years ago, three months ago to the same group. And he said, you know what? In a project like this, my job is to tell people what we were doing, to remind them what we were doing, remind them why we were doing it, and to continually enforce what's in it for them, and give them a door to say, you know, it's about me. In truth, it's all about them. That's the most important piece of the whole project itself, is your people and their safety and their lives. So a smart man. Didn't come across as rude, but he showed respect, compassion, and that strategic link. May I know the fee for the Master's Certificate in Project Management? It's $9,450 plus tax. It's 18 days long. It's 7 hours a day. It's an awesome program. It runs every second week on a Friday, Saturday. Syed, thanks for asking. Is the team charter you were talking about the same as what others would have called a stakeholder map? Usually a document that tends to be visible in the PM team, but not necessarily to the entire project team. Documents what major stakeholders make decisions, what makes stakeholders make decisions, what power they have from influence to actual decision making. Absolutely. A good team charter, well, a good communications plan, Dominic, would include a full stakeholder map. A good communications plan, which is an output to a very strong project management culture. And it is there, and it's part of our communication training in the Master's Certificate and in every great project management training program. It's called a communications plan, a stakeholder map, and a actual communication plan. Who gets what, where, why, when. The team charter, I'm going to cough for a moment. Excuse me, the team charter is not really part of that. It's a little different. It is a document that we create as we sit around and we say, well, who are all of you? What roles do you have? What responsibilities do you have? Wow, that's cool. And then what did you do? And then what did you do? It's everything about us as a team. It's okay, roles and responsibilities. Okay, you know, we're going to spend a day together. We're just going to go away and have some fun, sit around a pool and play. And we're going to keep meeting and all day. And I want to talk about your strengths and weaknesses, things we wouldn't know about you when we were in a desert island for 3 months, that kind of fun stuff. It's all about the team. How we're going to communicate, the processes we're going to use in order to communicate well. What are we going to do when there's a conflict? All that stuff is different than the stakeholder map. It's different than a communications plan. It's a very separate product. And it's very unusual, and it's not used very often. But I guarantee you, you start thinking about taking an hour, a lunch and learn, a 1 day offsite, a half day, 2 hours in the backfield, just building a team from the beginning, getting everyone knowledgeable about who's who in the zoo and who's what and how we're going to work together. I promise you it pays off in spades. Yeah, closer to the 7 habits of Steve Covey. Absolutely. Great questions. Wow, that was fun. I'm hanging around. Any other questions? Not going anywhere. It's noon. It's almost lunchtime for me. Any other questions? This is great stuff. Q&A box. Carol, thanks for the opportunity to attend and winning the book. Oh, yeah. Looking forward to reading it. Oh, yeah, you. Winnipeg, nice to have you there. My mother was born and raised in Winnipeg. Great presentation. Looking forward to, I'm going to be looking into the master's certificate. Carolyn Walker, thank you. That'd be great. If you do, remind me where we met. Some great leaders out there. Who might be great leaders out there in your opinion? You don't want to know that list, Jamal. Great leaders. You know, they're not necessarily the nicest people, but they're great leaders. I mean, and what makes a great leader? I've often done workshops, Joel, that said, so what makes a great leader? Well, they've got great decision-making and they've got authority and you know, all the cool things. But so you kind of look at them and say, well, really? Was Steve Jobs a great leader? Yeah, he was. He got stuff done. He got the tick mark on 15 of the 30, but he sure didn't on any of the other 15. You know, was Abraham Lincoln. You look at some of the political people. You look at Obama. You look at you know, our current president now. I don't know our current prime minister. So I don't want to get into the politics, but man, there are some great leaders, and man, there are some terrible leaders. And there's some great leaders that got imported or exported into an environment that wasn't really them, and that gets really scary. So it's difficult. You know, Jamal, it depends on the environment you're in and the type of leadership that you're looking for. So there's definitely some good and some bad. Thank you for that. So, ladies and gentlemen, it looks like I'm done. I wish you all well. I wish you success in your careers as engineers and maybe as project management professionals in an engineering environment. Don Dixon, if you're around, I'm at 416-573-0286 if you want to chat. I'd love to say hi. And so if you are interested in our program, we'll do a quick little follow-up. I know my friend Stephanie Courteau is on the line. She is a education specialist here at Schulich, and she'd be very pleased to talk to you in a little bit more detail about the program and how it might fit into your career. So in the follow-up, if you see Stephanie Courteau, she is the person that can help you make that decision. She'd be happy to help out as an education consultant. Thank you. And I'm the program director, and I will see you in the fall if you join us. If you don't, best wishes to all of you, and thank you for being here. All the best, everyone. Bye-bye.